Good morning, everyone. It's that time of the month again. It's the last Sunday of the month. It has been a really quick month. Well, it has for me because I was away for a couple of weeks. I see I gained a couple of subscribers while I was on holiday, so if you're a new subscriber, thanks, and I hope you'll stick around and enjoy the ride, hopefully. So I'll give you a bit of a heads up before I start that this could be a long video. I am going to talk in particular about a couple of things that have affected me personally and are close to my heart, so I'll give you a heads up there if you want to switch off now or you want to switch off halfway through. It's entirely up to you. If you're an old subscriber, you will know that I did change the format. So I changed the format. Instead of me reading poetry, I just decided to do these type of videos because I really don't have the voice for spoken word, which I don't, There's people that do, but I really don't. So I thought I would change it. And I thought I would change it, and then between times I like to do the shorts, and the shorts are far more popular than me, so the shorts are far more popular than I am. So also, I think in the last video you would have seen that I wasn't, my mental health was pretty shitty at that time. I'm happy to report that I am in a much better frame of mind now. So yeah, we're good, we're all good. The holiday, the holiday wasn't that great, but a lot of it, and it was my fault. I was in Catalonia, which if you're not familiar with Catalonia, that is where Captain Corelli's mandolin was filmed. Don't get me wrong, Catalonia is it's just absolutely stunning. I was in Zante at the same time last year, and I think between the two, I'd say Catalonia is the most beautiful in terms of flora and fauna, but you really do need a car. It's very hilly indeed. And I always book my package holidays with Jet2, and usually when you get off the flight after your holiday, Jet2 will hand you a voucher for your next holiday. And I think basically what I did last year was just came back and booked it and really didn't pay attention to the small print. And I was at the top of a very, very steep hill. The beach was nowhere to be well, you could see the beach, but to walk to it, which I did a couple of times, walking down is okay, but the walking back was just a killer because it was all windy and steep, and I mean really, really, really steep. The weather wasn't that great. The weather, I have to say, was really not that great. But I have to go at the beginning of the month because otherwise I would fry. As you can see, I didn't take any colour. I have no colour, so yeah, I have to go at the beginning of the season or else I would just fry myself, and it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. The first day I got there, it was a wee bit sunny when I arrived, but at night it does get really chilly at night, and I actually had to go down and ask for a blanket because you get one sheet and a top cover, and I can't sleep if I'm cold. So I went down to ask for a blanket. I had a bit of a patio, and the patio was overlooking a derelict building. So yeah, and I did say to somebody when I got there that I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do the fortnight. I had a kettle in the fridge, so no means of making anything to eat. You did get a breakfast. The breakfast was lovely. You got the choiceified breakfast. But yeah, I was living on pot noodles. Just pot noodles and rubbish. Really, I was. Everybody else had a patio that was overlooking the sea. You were right at the top, stunning views, but every time you read about Kefalonia and you hear about Kefalonia, I think the main parts that you hear about are like Sami, Scala, Argostoli. You never hear about the bit that I was at. If I was going to go back, I wouldn't go back to that part. I would go back to Kefalonia. In fact, I have been having a look, and it turns out EasyJet do flights from Edinburgh to Kefalonia, and that would save for me a lot of mucking around, because I have so much fuffing around before I even get to the airport, because I've got to leave for Glasgow. So but at the moment I'm in no particular hurry to book anything else, to be perfectly honest. And also while I was on holiday I broke my phone. Yeah, broke my phone. 5 days before I came home. Obviously you will have seen the shorts I was posting, and I do like to take lots of photos. I do have a good camera, but I like to switch between my phone and my camera, and obviously it's easier to upload with a phone direct, So on the Friday night my phone was telling me that I was just about out of storage, and then it told, so I thought what I would do is move some stuff over to the SD card, and the SD card said it was full, and I thought, really? Because SD cards usually hold quite a bit, and I wanted to get in to see what size SD card it was, and I was trying to figure out exactly where the SD card was located. Yeah, first wrong move. Don't ask me why, I have no idea. So I went into the on-off switch, yeah, I know, to try and locate the SD card, and it came out, and I couldn't get it back in. Pure panic stations, huge big meltdown, proper serious meltdown. So I thought, right, okay, I really need to get this button back in. So what I did was I took the back off the phone with a knife. With a knife, yeah, I know, with a knife. And when I put the back, when I replaced the back, it wouldn't power up. Spoke to lots of people at the hotel, asked if they could help. Nobody knew, nobody could, no, nothing. Long story short, took it into Argostoli, which is the capital of Kefalonia, on Tuesday. They said it was fixable, but they would need to send for a part, and that wasn't a viable option because I was coming home the Wednesday. So I took it to a shop in Musselburgh on Friday, and it's sorted. No photographs lost, nothing. So yeah, don't ever mess with your phone, particularly when you're on holiday. Don't. I had no idea at the time. You just really, really don't realise how much you rely on your phone. The day I was coming home, I was due to get picked up by transfer at 9 o'clock. Woke up at stupid o'clock, no idea what time it was. And eventually got back into Edinburgh at 7 o'clock that night. And I was done. I mean, like finished, trashed, absolutely done. Which brings me on to the next part of the video. I've looked at the videos that I've made previously and have spoken about it, and you will be aware, if you've bought any of my books and you've read the bio, that I do have chronic fatigue. It is a fluctuating illness, but on the bad days it can be very, very debilitating, and I don't travel well. It does take a lot out of me. Usually when I travel, I wear a lanyard, and it's a sunflower lanyard, and some of you might be familiar with that, and I have spoken about it before. I don't wear it when I'm at home because I don't want pity. And I know most people, 99% of people, when I tell them I've got chronic fatigue, they just look at me like I'm talking out my ass, and that's fine, you know. I know I've got it. I don't need to explain myself to anybody. I know I've got it. I was diagnosed with it. The lanyard is one that I actually bought from Etsy, and it does say on it, this person suffers from extreme tiredness. Not one bus driver here or in Glasgow or at any airport, not one person offered to help. So, what is the point? What is the point of these lanyards? Because nobody ever, I was that exhausted when I came off the flight at Glasgow. I knocked over my suitcase. I nearly tripped over my suitcase. I was just that done, you know, and I still had to get from Glasgow Airport to Buchanan Street, and from Buchanan Street to Edinburgh City Centre, and then from Edinburgh City Centre back home. And not one person, I mean, official person, like a bus driver, even, you know, the bus driver will quite happily sit on his ass. The bus driver will quite happily sit on his ass and just look at you, and as if to, you know, and watch you struggle with the case, but will not make any attempt. And I just feel like taking the thing and saying, hey, can you read, motherfucker? Sorry for swearing. Can you actually read? You know? It's, you know, it's not good. It's really not good when you're that exhausted, you know. I know I'm ranting, and I do apologise for swearing, and it is going to be a long video because I see I'm 15 minutes already. The next part of this video is I want to talk about something that I've never actually spoken about on any platform, and I probably I've not wrote about it either. As no, I'm telling lies. I did actually write about it in my first book, The Madness of Corona. I want to talk about alopecia today. Most people who know me will know, but I am here and I am raising awareness of it today. this is not my own hair. I have had alopecia since the age of 28 and I am 56 now. It started off as a little circle like that at the back. At the time I was in a very stressful job and I just put it down to that, and I was also in that relationship. I always did have very, very fine hair, and I used to get it streaked, which obviously, it's harsh chemicals on your hair. So I did go to the doctor and I was sent to dermatology, and dermatology said, oh, it's your hormones, you'll need to go on the pill. And then I went back a year later and they said, no, it's in your genes and that's it. You do need to, And at 28, which is still a relatively young age, it didn't come from my mother's side. My mother had absolutely beautiful hair. I used to do her hair for her and she loved me doing her hair. I think it came from my father's side because I do remember my father's mother used to wear them. And back then, when it first started, the wigs were pretty desperate, I have to say. They were pretty desperate. They weren't the best. And I can usually still spot a bad one. It looks like a bird's nest basically on top of someone's head. There are all different types of alopecia, and some are stress related and some people their hair does grow back. I do have hair, my own hair is down to there and it's dark brown. And don't ask me why I'm keeping it because I've no idea. It's just the thought of somebody just going with a razor that, I'm not ready for that yet. But I do see women, and it is more common than you would think, and I take my hat off to them that they, and they're quite confident going about like that or being on camera like that, and I salute you ladies, I really do. I'm not that brave. You don't have many. This is acrylic, it's not human hair, it's acrylic. The human hair ones are far more difficult to look after, I've heard, and obviously they're more expensive. I get mine on the NHS and I am entitled to 2 a year, and I just stick with this because I'm happy with it and I like the colour, I like the style, and it's easy to care for. I do wash it, I condition it, I just wash it in a basin of water, hang it up, next day it's dry, boom. The only restrictions I would say would be for the swimming. I can't go swimming, so if I'm on a tour, and it's usually if I go on a tour when I'm away, there'll be a boat trip and then there'll be a stop and everybody's jumping into the sea and I can't do it. I could probably go swimming if I wore a cap. I could probably do it that way, but what I really would like to do is when I'm abroad just wear a bandana, because it gets in this, it doesn't in the sun and the heat, it just completely dries it out, and I think the water abroad is harder than ours. It is harder than ours, and it doesn't wash well, but I can honestly say that it doesn't bother me now. It did at the time, it did when it first happened, obviously, but I get a lot of compliments. People will say, oh, I love your hair, and I just tell them, because it doesn't bother me, because I've got one that I'm happy with. And I will say that if you have alopecia, or you're just starting to lose your hair, it is very important to get one that you are happy with and you feel comfortable with, because initially when you start wearing it, you will be, everybody knows, and they really don't, and most people are so busy going about their business that they really don't. As far as the bedroom's concerned, because I guess you're probably all wondering about that, I don't sleep with it on. I've got like a mannequin head, and I put it on there, and I wear a bandana in my bed. And for the other side, well, there hasn't been, not in this house anyway, so I've been in this house for, more than a few years, and yeah, my bed's not even been christened, so yeah. But I have had before, I moved here, and I've never had any man turn up his nose. It doesn't change who I am. I'm still me. And I am much more than my hair or my skin or anything else, So, yeah. I am going to add one last comment. They usually only last about 6 months, but I look after everything I own. I look after it, whether it be a t-shirt, I look after everything. But they do tend to get a little bit see-through after you've been washing them. Okay, I was going to say Ken, and Ken is Scottish slang for no. It's all netting inside. It's all netting. And they don't come off when it's windy. They don't, because you have things inside them and you pull them, and that keeps them on. Yeah, coming back from holiday, as I say, I had washed it when I was on holiday, but I know it wasn't looking its best, because I reckon the water is harder. And the queue for passport control at Glasgow Airport was really long, really, really long. I don't know why, for some unknown reason. And there was 3 ladies standing behind me. And yeah, enough said. I doubt very much whether you are watching, but if you are watching, and I hope you never lose your hair. All this shit about women empowering other women, it's just shit. It's just absolute shit. I can count on one hand the number of people that I that would be by my side and stand at my back. It's shit. There's no need for it. There's no need for it, and I wasn't going to start a riot in Glasgow Airport, because I'm a lover, I'm not a fighter, but there's no need for it. In terms of I am going to finish up 5 more minutes and we're done, so it's a half-hour video. In terms of my poetry, I was writing quite a bit while I was away. I was writing, and I was struggling a wee bit when I came back. I've caught up with it all. I've fed it all into Grammarly. I was posting on Substack when I was away, but because I was using my phone, I made a lot of errors, so I've had to go in and sort it all out. I've looked at a course, an online course, because I really do want to improve the standard of my writing. That is the uppermost in my, sorry, I can't find the word I'm looking for. That is the uppermost thing I want to do. I was on Instagram twice while I was away, and as it stands, I'm pretty sure that I will be closing my Instagram account. It just takes up far too much time. It just takes up far too much time. It's, yeah. I've got over 1,000 followers, and I'm sorry if this offends anybody, but there is far too much emphasis put on the followers thing. It's like every milestone achieved is a celebration, when basically all the followers are passive, which they are. My blog takes up a lot of my time, but it's my blog and I own it. I paid for my domain, and I am quite happy to pour my resources into that, and sorry, and stick with my other, I'll still be on Pinterest and Facebook and Substack. It is with a heavy heart that I will be leaving Instagram. I have formed a lot of connections on there and made a lot of friends, but I'm not willing to spend so much. I'm just not, and it's not because I'm don't want to write anymore, or I'm fed up with nothing could be further from the truth, but I can't devote, it's really not fair to the poets on Instagram, because I can't devote the amount of time that I used to now, because I've got my own blog. Because you have to, it works on the same principle, but on the blog you can't get away with just putting a like. You don't have to comment. You could do that on Instagram as well, I suppose, but it's notification after notification after notification, and it's tags, and it's people sending you their posts, and it's like, whoa, whoa, it's just too much. It's too much. I'm not willing to do it anymore, So I think the last Sunday in June is the 25th. I could be wrong, or I could be right. Sheila Bryce, I'll leave that with you, darling. I will be making some shorts in between time, because I am basically all caught up now with everything. And whatever you're doing, as always, take good care, and don't play with your phone, and don't take the back off, especially if you're going on holiday. Bye for now.